Let's go! LSU spring game film study. Let's jiggy. Charles Turner, absolutely love it. We have football to dissect. I'm going to need your help in the comment section. Who are your winners and losers from yesterday's game? And as this absolute beautiful Jayden Daniels dime gets thrown in the background, I already know what's going to happen. You guys are going to be in the comment section and say, hey, this is just a spring game. Why are we even doing this? And I hear you. I agree. Everything that you said is true. You should take everything with a grain of salt. Was the first play. I'm not breaking down the field goal kicks. I think those will get ironed out. I still believe in Ramos. So, first thing right here, I love to see this from LSU. All right? You notice, even if you don't make a good play action fake, you'll see this throughout this film study. It still works. Play action still works even if you can't establish a running game, and LSU today didn't. More on that on plays coming up. Look at this pass protection. Absolutely immaculate. That is what you want to see. Probably wouldn't even have mattered, pass protection, because this is a good, quick play right here by Jayden Daniels, all right? Every single time we see man-to-man coverage with Malik Nabers, it doesn't matter if it is freaking Jalen Ramsey out there. We want to throw it up to a future first-round pick. So you see it right here, Jayden, just a really good throw, stepping into it. Good base, if you will. Quarterback coaches, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong on there. But right here, I mean, you see J.K. Johnson eventually turn his head for the football. That's the correct technique to play 99% of the time. The only issue when you turn back for the football is the ball could be a back shoulder throw, and it could be in your blind spot. He honestly never sees it, as you can see, and that's why this is such an easy catch for Malik Nabers, okay? Now, as a DB, if you're in man coverage and you're going up against clearly their best weapon, we can't be giving away stuff this easy. So I would just yank him down. I really would. I don't think DBs do that enough, to be quite honest. If you're beat, just do whatever to make sure they're not getting an easy touchdown. You see a bunch of media here. Scarborough, Cobble, a bunch of folks down there. All right, so right here, this is one of my favorite plays that LSU runs. And to be honest, it never goes for necessarily a gazillion yards, but I love this zone read pull, throw the slip if it's there, if not, just run in this alley. As you can see right here, in an actual game, that's 3-4-ish yards. Now, you don't want Jayden to take too many of these hits. And honestly, OMAR SPEIGHTS does a really good job of making this play squeeze down a little bit. So we leave him unblocked. We allow him to shoot this gap. Noah Kane, once he doesn't get the carry, he's got to do a better job of getting a piece of him. But SPEIGHTS actually eventually chases this down from behind. Love to see it. Not the worst defense, not the worst offense. Let's get to the next play. Boom! I'm looking at you. I got to make sure you are awake early here. I'm so tired because of that amazing PHO meetup in Bossier yesterday. Oh, yeah, Patrick Queen, Dre Jenkins, and Michaela Williams were also there. I really appreciate all of you. Last year, we really struggled with this. It's what Tennessee does a lot of, these kind of scissors, crossers kind of things, where this guy runs a vertical route this way to try and pick this player off going on a wheel-ish route down the line of right here, okay? We do variations of this. We'll break that down coming up hopefully today. We're trying to get to as many plays as we can. But you see, Sage Ryan does a really good job to get over the top of this and cover this Kyren Lacy route. What I could argue, this is really advanced stuff. Maybe we could back shoulder this right here, but that's asking a lot. So everything is covered, but one thing that Jayden is going to have to know going into next year is both of our offensive tackles are really good football players, okay? They do not get beat here. They, in fact, are dominating their assignment. Now, Ogufu does eventually get the edge, but this is how difficult it was to get the edge on Will Campbell. He is all the way upfield, okay? This is where the line of scrimmage began. He is 10 yards upfield. So Jayden next year is going to be going up against what is called a mush rush. When teams rush for their defensive tackles, They're not going to rush upfield because they know Jayden would just run right underneath it. So a must rush is this. Everybody's staying in their lanes, and they're trying to keep Jayden in the pocket. Jayden has got to step up into this and just throw this away. Everything is just covered, and eventually he does roll out to the right. He's trying to throw something, and, well, he doesn't know that a guy right here would have been there to strip it. Now, Jayden all last year never got strip sacked, but you got to step up into this. You can't always break out this way, and once again, that's a really big-time negative play in the red zone. All right, we'll get to another throw with the same thing in just a second. But now, we saw this in our last spring game breakdown, and I was going to be interested to see if LSU was going to do more of this, pulling two guys to the opposite side of the line of scrimmage. Sometimes it's a counter play. Sometimes it's just, straight handoff to the left. So we do decide to pull the right guard and the right tackle. The issue is I am not the hugest fan of pulling the right guard and the right tackle, or the left guard and the left tackle, because it allows the players that they are blocking to just get too free of a run, and that's exactly what happens here. Now, if there's any OCs out there watching this, I would love a creative wrinkle for this motion man to replace these two blockers and just peel back on the edge player coming down here. But you see, there's nobody blocking a Goofoo. He comes all the way down the line of scrimmage and makes this play. Now, what is very interesting about this, once again, this is just a design flaw, if anything. It's a good play, but we want our end to make this play from behind. If we're able to just get a piece of him here, this is a touchdown. Everything is blocked really well. This is a good job by Garrett Dellinger. Look at him just move Jacobian Guillory out of this play. Good job by Will Campbell getting this very difficult block on the second level on this backer. Good job right here by a true, well, that's Giovanni Peterson, okay, a walk-on. Good job. OMAR SPEIGHTS just crushed us all day. This is one of our better blocks on SPEIGHTS all day. And now Emory Jones is our lead blocker. Okay, he would have cleaned up anything this way. This is a touchdown. You see, there would have been nobody right here to make this play. And if it's not a touchdown, we are getting this down to the 2 at the very least. Last thing about this, it just depends on the play call itself. I wish Jayden would have pulled this, okay? I think this is a handoff all the way. This isn't a read opportunity. But if it was, pull it, and it would have been a foot race between Jayden and Harold Perkins to the outside. This is the only guy in the country that could chase Jayden Daniels down, and I would have liked to have seen how that would have resulted. Alrighty, so this is one play I would love to see in an actual game setting, okay? And this is not easy to do, all right? So we're running an RPO here. Jayden, once again, for those that don't know, an RPO, Jayden has the opportunity to hand this football off or pull it to BTJ on this in-breaking route. Memo, we want to pull it here because BTJ is by far our best red zone receiver over the middle. Now, Malik's really good at it too, but BTJ, go back and look at the UAB catch. The dude is a monster in breaking routes into the end zone, all right? And I want to shout out Joey B., Jamar Chase, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and many legends more for coming to the spring game. In honor of them, let's celebrate in this same end zone, the Florida RPO, to get things going in 2019. Let's get back to it. Let's go. I like this pull read right here by Jayden. The only issue here is Matt House calls the perfect play for this. He decides to bring a blitz right here by Greg Brooks, and we cannot allow the defense to time our snap counts like this every single time because Jayden is getting absolutely mauled here in an actual game, okay? As you can see, he is getting mauled, all right? So, a few things about this, from my perspective, could be totally wrong about this. Number one is, and I'd have to go back and look at every single snap to really determine this. So, and this is just, a note that I would leave for all offensive schemes is you have got to do more hard snap counts, right? Because if you don't, you are allowing an experienced, savvy player like Greg Brooks to get a full speed head start run towards the line of scrimmage. Because on most running plays, the safety is unaccounted for, okay? So nobody's supposed to be blocking him. This is not on the offensive line. This happens too often. We put too much blame on the O-line when it's actually the design. So this comes down to Joe Sloan and Denbrock saying, look, we've got to hard count, so if we could see if this safety is actually blitzing or not, and the defense would actually also give away if they're blitzing or not. That also helps the offensive line and your personal protector to see who's actually running what. So I do think we need to hard count more often. The second thing is, obviously with the mechanics, we need to get this football out as soon as we possibly can, okay? So, once again, it just comes down to how quickly can we get this ball out. Last thing here, just really good coverage by Alexander. He's sitting all over this slant, and he just dominated a really good player right there. It's a really good rep right there by 2-4. All right, here we go. Step up in to the pocket. It's the same thing here, okay? And once again, that is too much push right here. Will Campbell going up against Javien Jones is a really good job by Javien to collapse this. But once again, the one thing I'll say about Will Campbell, if he is initially getting beat on a play, I've never really seen an offensive lineman do a better job of staying in it, okay? He sits heavy and eventually gets Javien Jones locked up, okay? We got a double on this edge right here. We just need Jayden to step up in instead of fading back, and we never want this. So we're throwing a fadeaway throw, and we have a lot that just goes wrong. We were trying to run Malik on a corner route. Sage Ryan's got him covered, and we need Sage to pick this, okay? That's two hands on the ball right there. Also, it would have been a penalty anyway. Malik Nabers stepped out of bounds, and you can't be the first person to touch it. So there you go. If Jayden steps up into this, okay, this actually gets very interesting if he does. So eventually, Noah Cain does peel off right here. You step up into this, we get a nice little dink right here, or Jayden runs into this space. Lead blocker versus J.K. Johnson and a few other players? Maybe. But instead, this happens. Alrighty, so that was kind of a tough first series right there. In fact, that could have been not one, but two turnovers. And, to go along with that Greg Brooks hit, if you get hit while you're throwing the football, it leaves you open for the Brock Purdy injury. One of the worst things for a quarterback is when you're getting hit when you're actually in the middle of your throwing motion, because helmets and hands can hit the elbow and the finger. So yeah, let's see if Garrett Nussmeier here could do any better. We start off here with what looks like a not so great throw. This is actually some really excellent quarterback play, just like what we saw with Jayden with this first throw. Let's see if we can get a back shoulder vertical hit. And Hilton right here is essentially, being the top option. This ball is thrown to the back shoulder here. And I think the first thing that Chris Hilton struggles with, it was a tough day for him, is balance. He starts extending for this ball, I think, a little too early, because it has to be thrown towards the sidelines because it's a back shoulder throw. We want to make sure only our guy could get it. So he extends himself, and he doesn't give himself the opportunity to just kind of run into this ball. And, that's enough room on the sideline to potentially make this grab. Okay, it's a very difficult grab, and it's not the absolute most perfect throw. All right, so now we get to second down. Let's go back to Chris Hilton here, and see if we can get the RPO. First thing is we don't get a good snap, and I'll say it again, this was the second team offensive line. Bo Bordelon and Kimo McAnally are the only scholarship guys. McAnally is a guard playing tackle. Bordelon is a tackle moving to center, and this is 3 walk-ons, 2 of which are former defensive linemen. So we get a low snap on this RPO, and he pulls it, and this is just not a good throw right here by Garrett Nussmeier. And once again, you got to extend yourself to make this play. It's kind of tough to see from this angle. All right, this was my favorite Denbrock play call in the red zone period. And I wish, and this actually is just good quarterback play by Garrett Nussmeier, but I'll show you something on the other side of the screen in just a second. So this is Jaylen Brown, the former 5-star, ended up being a top 100 4-star. We need him to get vertical and potentially pick off 34. At the very least, we want 34 to give ground. So we are able to get just a quick, throw to the upfield shoulder right here to Javien Nichols, okay? Great throw by Garrett to hit him on the upfield shoulder. We just need Nichols to make this guy miss. Good play right there. Who is 34? I believe he's a walk-on as well. Very good tackle right there. Love this play design, though. Love it. Okay, if this is Malik, maybe Malik is able to make this guy miss. Now, this is where it gets very interesting. Okay, first thing is it shouldn't have counted. We got a false start penalty right here. Okay, unless that's just a really good jump. Still, not too great. Now, I wish, and this is a good read. This is what you should throw. But, God, I love this play design. Bill O'Brien with Jahmyr Gibbs did this nonstop at Alabama. We are running a Texas route on the back end here with our running back, Trey Holly, who had a really solid day. So, Trey lines up as his receiver, and what we could have seen here on the backside, these are the Weeks brothers at linebacker, okay? We're in 5 wide. It is pretty clear that we're going to have Trey Holly one-on-one against Whit Weeks, true freshman versus true freshman. So, Trey Holly is running like if he is running an out route, okay? And as you can see, Weeks has to fight over the top of this to get to Trey Holly in the flats, and you'll see that he overcommits, and bang, all right? You hit Trey Holly in the numbers. I would have loved to have seen how that would have played out. That's probably a touchdown. Still, we want to get the football out quickly in the red zone, especially with the backup offensive lineman, or a backup offensive line with so many walk-ons, so that's the right thing to do. But, man, I would love to see LSU do more of that. All right, so, this was brought up in the broadcast. I thought Aaron Murray did a really good job, calling this game. That Garrett Nussmeier sometimes will just go too quickly through his reads and just not take what the defense gives him, okay? This is a sack. Quincy Wiggins holds up here. Once again, we want our defensive line to be dominating this backup offensive line. We just do. Right? And they do. Good job by Tyjee Hill and Wiggins to eventually crush this. And good job by Garrett Nussmeier eventually getting this football out to Trey Holly. And a really nice open field tackle again by 34. Good stuff. Now, this time, unlike the last play, Nuss actually does not go to the right side of the formation and then works to Trey Holly to the opposite side. When all you have to do right here, hit this. Hit it. That's all. Right there, boom. It's one-on-one versus, once again, this would have been true freshman versus true freshman. Ryan Yates versus Jackson McGohan. Bang. Hit that right there, okay? And it is a race to the pylon. It's a bad miss right there. And we go through it. We still do a good job, eventually getting it here. But, it goes back to the last play. That's why you can't, if you're struggling with an offensive line, you just got to go to the first guy, that is open. Okay. Still a positive play, and let's get to the next one. I do want to shout out all our PHL patrons. Really appreciate it. We're growing over there. All our game grades are posted, and one guy, of course, that had a great game grade was Kyren Lacy. The issue is now becoming better as a blocker, okay? Because he is the reason why this play gets blown up. But I more so want to celebrate two people on this play, okay? I'm not really the biggest fan of bringing your wide receivers in and making them an in-line kind of blocker. Justin Jefferson was actually pretty good at this with 2019 LSU. We did this a lot with them. And last year we did this a lot actually with BTJ, who is, for the most part, a really good blocker. But watch Toviano just dent this play. Watch this. Bang! Okay? Once again, not the most physical rep. I know it's a little pixelated there from Kyren Lacy, but I want you to see this right here. Okay, this tight end is one-on-one versus OMAR SPEIGHTS, and look at this. Boom. Okay, he lifts Peterson off the ground right here. Okay, that is physical, grown man, fifth-year football right there. And look, no forward momentum really at all. I do like that our O-line and offensive players just did not give up on this, but that was big boy football right there. Alrighty, so we then actually get Kyren Lacy on a quick out right here, but the MVP of this play was BTJ. The sign of a good player isn't necessarily when you get catches, but how good are you when you're not getting the football? BTJ is not only our best blocker as a receiver, God, he is so good at really getting other people open. So he does a really good job shielding off this player, and I understand it's pixelated, but look at all this space he generates right here to not allow this player to get over the top, and this is just so open. It's such an easy completion right here for Jayden. Could that ball have been delivered a second sooner? Maybe, but the bottom line is BTJ gets Kyren Lacy open. I do want to bring up one final thing about Toviano here. All right. Good catch by Kyren, but Toviano is just so freaking physical. Love that. One thing I like about the spring game is the fellowship of the former players. Looked like T-Bob right there. Shout out to him. Alrighty, here we go. Chris Hilton on the bomb. Big miss right here by Jayden. I mean, this is one of our fastest players, and I understand Chris Hilton had a rough day. God, I mean, you could argue Hilton needs to do a better job of getting Jayden more room, but we get the pump fake to the right. Not the best rep right here by Will. You could see he kind of leaned, but he did a good job at least getting a piece to push him somewhat up the field. And, did he let up right here? Yes. So this could have been another strip opportunity. We would see. It would just depend on, in an actual game, how this would actually play out. Look at that. I mean, that's just not good. Just a bad miss right there by Jayden. All right, so I see a lot of college football players do this. Can someone explain the big undershirt where I still see players getting tugged by this, and why don't you actually wear your mouthpiece? That has to be distracting with that thing jiggling around. I don't know. It's strange. A lot of players do it. It's not just Chris Hilton. It just is very strange. This is one of the best plays of the day, and of course, it is made by Harold Perkins, to the point where Brian Kelly even talked about this play. Playing a new position here. This play call is absolutely brilliant, okay? We're running to the right. Linebackers are heavily leveraged to the left. So we're down blocking, pulling a right guard to kick out the end, and this tight end has got to make this play on a backer trying to undercut this. Okay? So, excellent. We have exactly what we want, all right? We're getting some decent push right here. Good job by Jacobian Guillory on Miles Frazier to reestablish this line of scrimmage. Good stuff. And this is actually squeezed down fine right here by Ovia Gufu. But the bottom line is Jackson McGohan, a true freshman tight end. Once again, early enrollee. He should be at prom getting ready to go to Applebee's, but instead you are going up against one of the biggest freak of natures the sport has ever seen. And it looked like he tripped on his own feet. I was able to see another replay. I think he just kind of tripped on his own. Either way, he whiffs this block. Perk just comes in and just bang. I mean, you can't play linebacker any better than that, folks. I mean, that looks like freaking Ray Lewis, if you ask me. So, now Mike Denbrock says, look, you think we're going to run with Kyren Lacy, right, when we have him pinned down right here. They're thinking run. So, guess what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 guys now in the box, okay? So, what do we need to do? Well, we don't need to run on it. Let's slip Kyren Lacy in the flats and good play action fake. Kyren just chilling right there. And just a wide open, easy throw. And now we need Kyren to make Sage Ryan miss. Really rough day for Sage overall. He gets stiff-armed pretty badly. And we get a nice big gain. There you go. So this right here is the play of the day for me from the offensive line. LSU's defense elects to get very exotic. So we take Ovia Gufu off the edge, and we essentially have him playing linebacker here. And now we put OMAR SPEIGHTS right next to Jacobian Guillory, and we blitz Harold Perkins behind him. Okay, so the offensive line elects to do something called slide protection to the right. Okay, where every single offensive lineman is stepping to the right, and you're blocking anything on your right side gap. And what makes this difficult versus slide protection is because it's slide protection to the right, and it's an automatic one-on-one assignment, Will Campbell versus this end, the running back has got to read that Perk is coming on a blitz, and Kane reads it to perfection. Everything is blocked to perfection on the slide protection to the right. Javien Jones getting nowhere here on Will Campbell. I mean, it's just beautiful. Like, I mean, Brad did such a great job coaching this group up, Brad Davis. God, look at this. Once again, you don't want your quarterback playing on his heels. Now, I am a little bit more sympathetic if a quarterback is playing on his heels if you are in your own end zone, right? You do want to make sure that you don't take a safety, okay? But even though Garrett Nussmeier, as you see, he's practically drifting back. Look, this entire group of pass rushers just kind of gave up. I mean, we are just dominating them. You just can't do it any better than that. And Nuss even could have just run this if he wanted to into the space. He doesn't. He decides to chunk this football over the middle, and we hit Jackson McGohan on a deep shot down the field. Can't really say anything about the coverage because, number one, we couldn't see it. Stupid camera angle, too tight. But number two, you just can't cover for that long. Just excellent, excellent stuff by the LSU offense. So, same thing here with the Jayden Daniels miss to Chris Hilton. It's practically the same thing, but to the right, okay? You're the number one receiver. You are tight to the boundary here. So, you do have room to run this route. You can't, as a receiver, get pinned to the sideline this bad. You got to give the quarterback a little bit more room to operate. And you'll see right here, Denver Harris does a good job getting his hands and guiding him towards the sideline, okay? Now, good stuff, once again, by the pass protection. It's just really good. Garrett Nussmeier looks left and works back to the right, okay? I know we end up giving up pressure, but this is a walk-on, all right? Garrett throws a deep pass, and it's not a good one. There's so much air under this ball. But once again, there's not a whole lot of room to operate. And it hits Chris Hilton right there in the hands. Even though you might have been out of bounds, number one, it still needs to be caught, and there was room to make, once again, a really, really, really spectacular catch. Okay, it's kind of the same thing here. It's Braden Swinson going up against, once again, backups. And, Nuss decides to not throw this ball. This should have been thrown on the slant right here. It's tough to really see. Is there a backer sitting right there? I don't know. That could have been thrown. I do think, if they're playing zone, which they are right here, I think Garrett Nussmeier thought that Kyle Parker was going to just sit in this spot. He decides to not throw it. He's got no other receivers running to the left, and that is a safety right there, okay? I don't think he's out running Swinson, and then we just throw it away. All right, we get the play of the day here, and, this is just unbelievable offense, great design, but even better defense, while the great big Swagoo gets interviewed. We're going to break everything about this play down, but I want you to see this absolute freaking laser throw by Jayden Daniels. Good God. In terms of just mechanics, the spiral, everything about it, this is one of his top 5 throws at LSU. Once again, I know it's just a spring game, but this play would translate in an actual game as well. Okay? First thing is we get really good pass protection yet again. We should, okay? We got 7 guys to block there 4. Now, what did we say earlier? The sign of a great receiver is how much coverage do you draw when you're not getting the football. So right here to the left, we get a nice little fake by Jayden to get the defense flowing over here, okay? This is covered to Malik Nabers, this little double move. Good job by Jayden to get off of that. Because the protection is good, he's able to reset and then throw this absolute freaking dot to freaking Kyren Lacy. Lots of confidence on this throw. When there is an underneath hook defender, if you will, the ball needs to get up and down. A lot easier than it looks. And Kyren just snags that thing with one hand. And because he snagged it with one hand, it kind of threw off Greg Brooks, who's normally a good tackler. Now it's off to the races, okay? Here is my biggest issue with this play. Sage Ryan misses the tackle. He missed a lot of tackles. Once again, I don't know what it is. Wear your mouthpiece. So he gets thrown off by Kyren Lacy. And right here, I think Perk just needs to bring him down. All right? Perk is always going to be in the mode, I want to make a play. I want to get the football out. It's more important just to get this tackle because we want to force the other team's offense to execute in the red zone. J.K. Johnson doesn't give up per se, but he thinks Harold Perkins is going to bring him down. I like the fact that Ovia Gufu did hustle. Look at this hustle all the way back from where he was. And this allowed Kyren Lacy to score. So Perk has just got to bring him down. And Kyren Lacy just broke a lot of tackles here to make just this amazing play. And you can really see all the brilliance of this from Jayden over here. Okay? It's not there. Good job just looking this out. It's a 3-man route, and he's trying to see if Malik's going to open himself up. He doesn't, and that's just excellent stuff to immediately work to the right. I mean, God, just look at this rip. This is excellent stuff right here by Jayden. That is a freaking missile. Okay, look at that ball right there. And, you would see Jayden last year, throw some wobblers with a clean pocket. You could tell that aspect of his game has gotten better, and hopefully we see more of that to atone for that Chris Hilton miss from earlier. But once again, this is mostly on Kyren. Good stuff. Alrighty, so now we get to the next drive right here. It's Garrett Nussmeier. I think this is a handoff all the way. But if it wasn't, if this could have been a pull and slip read, we're cooking here with Chris Hilton. They sold out to stop this run. A lot of backups are in there. Okay, Greg Penn didn't play, so this is just honestly good stuff from this backup offensive line. We're getting some surge right here on these DTs. Quentin Wiggins squeezes down, and we get a decent run on first, but dadgummit, if this was one of those pull things where you could have, slipped it right there, we would have been cooking right here. We go to this 3rd and 6, and once again, Brian Kelly, for good reason, talked about the backup offensive line. It's just not enough scholarship guys to really give Garrett a chance to go through these progressions here. Doesn't really look like anything got open. Good job by Garrett stepping into it, but because, our protection broke down with our backup guards, just an easy sack right here. Good pressure by Fitzgerald West. Once again, he was going up against a walk-on, and that's just a sack. Boom! I'm looking at you, and if you want to see all our spring practice breakdown clips, I highly recommend it. It's not just breakdowns from spring practice. It's also some other philosophical things. And one of our last ones was on this play, the jet sweep. I think LSU should do more of it. I think you should run like 1 or 2 a game. I'm not a huge fan of the play in general, but for this offense, because we do a lot of pre-snap motion, you'll see right here, this is blocked well. I am not entirely certain why Kyren Lacy decided to cut this back versus our unblocked trail defender. This was actually well done, okay? Actually really well done. The only thing is this does get undercut right here, but we want OMAR SPEIGHTS to undercut this because Kyren would still be able to beat him right here. Still, Kyren does a good job making something out of nothing here, and it was something, but he was able to reverse fields, and we were still able to pick up a nice gain right here on first. So more jet sweeps. And you missed it. There was a moment where Garrett Nussmeier relayed a message to Kyren after that jet. Let's see. We get to this play right here. Safety does roll into the box. Okay, let's see what happens here. So Jayden is back to throw. And once again, this pocket is just good. I mean, there was just no pass rush, for a good portion of the game. Now, that could be by design. A lot of teams are going to do this to Jayden next year. They're going to let him sit in this pocket, okay? And because of Jayden's ability to run, even though he's not the quickest processor, if you have all day to throw, take advantage of it, okay? This is better. So remember early in the game, in the red zone portion, when Jayden would have this pocket, he wouldn't sit in it. And this time he sits in it. And look, BTJ is just wide open. It took a while for him to get there, but that's okay. Good base, good throw. And we hit BTJ in stride right there. Good throw. Once again, you could get through it quicker, but that's not Jayden's strongest aspect of his game. He does eventually get to the right target, and we pick up a nice first. All right. They always say you got to establish a run to establish play action. It's a myth, right? Now, running the football at will does help with play action fakes, but it's not necessary. We did not have any long runs. Last year, we had a ton of long runs in the spring game. This year, we didn't. And even if that's the case, you see the play action fake. See how it forces the backers to bite still? All right. Jayden decides to pull, and we are RPOing this. So he pulls it. He likes what he sees with the safety depth right here from Greg Brooks. He's looking to throw the football to his favorite target, Malik Nabers, over the middle. And that's exactly what he does, okay? Even if he didn't want Malik right there, he could have worked all the way backside to Landon Ibieta. He could have actually thrown this to Kyle Parker. Excellent design, even better offense. Once again, Harold Perkins is a freak of nature. Look at this. I mean, the mechanics are just so much better, so much smoother from Jayden. We need this ball to get up and down over the outstretched arms of Harold Perkins. Look at that. Folks, can't play quarterback better than that. We're hitting our guy in stride, Malik Nabers. And, of course, Malik is going to make a guy miss. And, once again, the rough day for Sage Ryan continued. Missed tackles in a spring game, I'm going to let it slide. But I do want you to notice one thing right here, okay? I don't know how many times LSU actually practice in Tiger Stadium. They normally do like 2 or 3 times during the spring. I don't know if the turf was different, but Denver Harris really struggled keeping his feet in terms of just sliding. But the tackling just in general is going to be bad because you never actually tackle really all that much in spring now. So we eventually get him down, but guys, that is just championship level offense. That's all there is to it, baby. Let's go. All right, Jayden haters. This is just excellent stuff, okay? We are running goes, it looks like, from our slots, and we are running comebacks with our outside receiver, okay? Jayden's favorite throw last year was a comeback route to Malik, and they are able to complete this throw even if the coverage is really good. I want you to see where this football is placed. God bless. And that is a laser right there from Jayden. Absolute freaking laser, okay? Same thing here. Once again, Jayden is just beginning to cook, okay? Very simple stuff. This was a route that we used a lot. Nice little hitch. Sit in the zone. Let's get the football out quick, okay? Bang. Right to Chris Hilton. Easy first down. Let's keep the chains moving, baby. Good stuff. Bah! I am looking at you. Yes, you. I know you've already subscribed. Ring the bell. If you could drop Venmo, Cash App donation. Sometimes these get demonetized. Sometimes they don't. A lot of work gets put into it. And as you guys know, it's been a busy 48 hours. We're in Bossier City yesterday for the PHL meetup. And I was able to speak with not one, but 2 former national champions at LSU. Okay? Patrick Queen and Jeray Jenkins. And they are both unbelievably cerebral players. Okay? So, what I want you to do, and one thing that we talked about on and off camera with those 2 people, and hopefully we will be able to post those interviews at some point this week. We actually broke down some film together. We do not know as much about these players. Number one, these guys are unbelievably smart, each and every one of them. And number 2, you do not know the play calls. So what I'm going to do, whether if you're watching this on a premiere or just at home right now, I don't want you to pay attention to me. I want you to pay attention to your own conscience. And I want you to put yourself in the feet, shoes, cleats, mindset of Jayden Daniels. So this is going to be a lot of fun. I guarantee it. You are cooking this drive, okay? They are on their heels. And now we're in the extended red zone at the 25-yard line. So after the nice little stick to Chris Hilton, we elect to not go fast, all right? So we let 20 seconds run off the play clock here. And now what I want you to do, just based on this pre-snap defensive alignment, okay, what do you think the defense is doing here? All right, so Jayden's job on every snap, especially if it's not hurry up, he has got to look at the defense to see what he potentially wants to do. All right, we motion the tight end, okay, and right when this ball is getting ready to be snapped, what do you think this defense is going to do? All right, do you think they are going to sit back into coverage? Do you think they are going to blitz? Let me know what type of coverage you think they are running, okay? Just based on this alignment, if I were Jayden Daniels at the snap of this football, I would think that they are playing split field coverage, okay? That means that they are playing what's called quarter, half, also known as cover 6. So they're playing cover 4 on this side, which is quarters. This guy's back. And this guy is back, and they are playing cover 2, which is he is a flat defender, and he is the safety over the top. And this might be a man-match situation where he is going with Chris Hilton everywhere he goes. If I was Jayden Daniels, that's what I would think pre-snap what they were doing, okay? Now, that is not what happens post-snap, all right? This gets very exotic. They don't run quarter, half, all right? They actually do something very crazy. Pre-snap, this looked like this was going to be something called middle of the field open, otherwise known as MOFO, ironically. MOFO. But after the snap, it becomes MOFC, middle of the field closed. And what they end up doing is run straight cover 3 with a hook defender, okay? So, pre-snap, you're looking at what Jayden thought it was going to be and what it actually ended up being, okay? Now, do you see how different that actually was? Matt House is getting exotic because Jayden is cooking him, and he had time because we didn't go quickly. Now, that is just the coverage. That is not actually what happened here. We bring what's called a cross dog blitz. Okay, remember earlier we tried this? He comes over the top, and we are bringing Harold Perkins around. And the first time we did this, guess what? We picked it up. All right? Slide protection to the right. One-on-one automatic Will Campbell versus Javien Jones on this end. And guess what happens the second time? We pick it up again. Look at you, Brad Davis. That is some excellent stuff. But guess what happens? Because the coverage was so exotic, Jayden couldn't find anything open, and we give up a sack. Protection was okay. So, this is where quarterbacking gets very advanced, all right? This requires a Joe Burrow level of mind, and maybe not, I mean, that's as elite as it gets, but just it takes a lot of really smart quarterbacking to actually go to the right option here, and that right option was Chris Hilton, okay? So, because it ended up being cover 3, you would have never have thunk that this would have actually been the thing that got open. But Jayden does eventually look to the right, okay? And he is eyeing this safety, all right? So if you see that this safety is going into this space and you know that a deep crosser is going to hold on to this safety right here, I would think that this ball to Chris Hilton could potentially be thrown, okay? And once again, I don't have the all-22 here, but Chris Hilton does, even though it looks like pre-snap that this is press, he does end up getting a free release. And look at this. This ball could have been put right here, okay? Now, once again, it's cut off. I don't know if Denver Hare sucked him up or not. Pause. Still, I don't know. It's tough to see. Also, this ball could have been thrown here. Sage Ryan does give a lot of ground, so we could have worked right here to, I think that's Kyren right there. And then number 3, this ball is never going to be completed, but it's tough. The backside dig right here does eventually open itself up, but the corner does have inside leverage, so he would potentially have a play on this ball right here. So thank God we never actually got over there. Now this does eventually get broken up. A really good play right here by Perk to get off this block, but it was picked up overall fine. Not as clean as the first time, but it was still okay. So now we get to the final aspect of this play. I think Denbrock really needs to think about this tight end wheel action. I would love to see the EPA per play or the yard per play numbers when we actually wheel our tight end up the sideline. We tried this so much last year. And keep in mind, this is not a DB. This is a Jack linebacker. Braden Swinson, the backup Jack, staying stride for stride with this tight end right here. Not a huge fan. I'm just not. It just never works. And it also, we just have no short options here. And I don't mind getting vertical. It's just, man. So, as you guys can see, quarterbacking is hard, right? It is so freaking hard. You guys are free to disagree if I broke that play down wrongly. Maybe there was something Jayden could have done about that. Once again, it's difficult not seeing, the all-22, but that's why I wanted you to put yourself into Jayden's shoes, right? You're cooking, you're in rhythm, and then the defense, well, they get after you. Very interesting stuff. All right, 2nd and 17. We're going to try and get something quick here. We're running a little swing, and this is just OMAR SPEIGHTS. Once again, 5th year, 4-year starter joining this team. Jayden throws a really good ball. We're hitting Noah Kane in stride, and this is just a really good coverage linebacker making a really good play. Good hustle by Perk on the backside right here. And, God, it's just good. I mean, it's just really, really good linebacker play right there by SPEIGHTS, okay? Here we go, 3rd and 13. Good quarterbacking again by Jayden Daniels, okay? This time, we are bringing Perk on a blitz, and we have a QB spy right here in OMAR SPEIGHTS. And single high coverage, man-to-man across the way. Smart move. Once again, Malik is drawing the safety. Malik does eventually open up to the backside, but we don't want to be throwing the football to the left. With the safety being that far shaded over, we're running a slot-ish fade right here with Kyren Lacy. And we almost get it right. We really do, okay? This is the right decision to throw the football, just slightly inaccurate. Very difficult throw from the opposite hash right here. Not bad coverage by Toviano. Good job getting the hands right there into Kyren Lacy's path. He won the hand fighting right there, but the ball's slightly overthrown. Good defense, good decision by Jayden, but the throw needs to be perfect in that situation to complete it or just a little bit better. And we miss it for a potential tutty. So I hope you enjoyed today's film study. Experimented with that play, that elongated one that ended up being a sack. Let me know if you guys want me to do more put you in the shoes of the quarterback kind of breakdowns. I kind of like doing that. But look, the grand scheme of things is you guys are free to disagree with me in the comment section. And that's what this is all about, okay? Once again, if you can, before I give you a few final thoughts here, feel free to drop a super chat or join our Patreon. You can actually see our full game grades, my thoughts on the spring game overall. Now, this is going to be part 1. We're eventually going to break down all the other plays, including that really good throw by Nuss to BTJ on the deep route. But I got to be honest here. There is a lot to like from today's spring game breakdown. Overall, I thought the first team offensive line was great. I really liked what I saw. Now, once again, we couldn't really get the run game going. And obviously, Kyren Lacy doing the freaking Angel Reese stance. God, I freaking love it. Look, there is just a lot to like with what we saw. Now, of course, a lot of you are concerned about the secondary. I would give them a little bit of leniency just because it is such a new group. And once again, a lot of new people are playing a lot of new positions. Obviously, Sage Ryan playing the traditional safety role for the first time. Really rough outing for him and a few others. But look, I'm going to be as positive as I possibly can and think maybe it was just a day in which they had a bad day. But the bottom line is your quarterbacks will tell you how far your team is going to go. And this was, without reasonable doubt, a huge step forward in the right direction for Jayden freaking Daniels. Goodness gracious, Jayden looked really confident, mostly on this one drive that we broke down towards the end. And once again, the red zone portion was rough. I would like to see more hard counts and all of that. But I got to give Brian Kelly and the staff a lot of credit. They did a good job, making our quarterbacks look better. And we'll break down more Garrett Nussmeier reps at some point. But once again, a little bit later, we're doing a live stream, so have to get ready for that. It's also my dad's birthday, Super Dad's PHL. Shout out to all of you. And look, it's been a crazy 48 hours. I was so happy to get to meet so many of you over the weekend. So Jayden missing only one pass. God, it's good. It's just good stuff. And yeah, like I cheer for each and every player on this team. We're only going to get better. And look, this roster in the minds of Aaron Murray, who was calling the game, and just in general, I won't get into how some other potential teams in the SEC performed, but there was another one that played a spring game on this same day, and they did not look the absolute smoothest themselves. So overall, yes, it's a spring game. You shouldn't take too much away from it. But you guys know I'll be a straight shooter with you guys. There's a lot to like. OMAR SPEIGHTS, Harold Perkins, Ovia Gufu had some good moments. So we'll save some other discussion for some of the special teams mistakes, but let's take this as a W. Nobody got hurt. Spring is over. We have some reinforcements coming in. We've been talking a lot about Mason Smith on here. Once again, Major Burns didn't play. And the offensive line is going to get deeper. And I know a lot of you want to break down some Ricky Collins, so we'll do that at some point. But once again, this is just part one of our spring game film study. We got all offseason to break down the rest of it. So we'll see you guys in the Patreon Discord. And here in just a second, we'll see you guys on the live stream. Let's go. It is Power Hour LSU. Boom. And tonight, we are doing some burgers. Let's go.